Nothing can change that. Espella wanted to ring the bell no matter what, so we went up to the belfry. The festival celebrations had already started. The mechanism for ringing the bell was at a height even we could reach. The next thing I remember is coming to and running to Espella's side. I was shaking her until she finally opened her eyes. The next moment we saw that nightmarish view. All strength abandoned us and we didn't know what to do. That was when we were found by my father and Mr. Cantabella. The bell could only be rung with a special mechanism. That's right. It was made in such a way that even a child could use it. Even though there was a puzzle, a rather complex puzzle, if I do recall. I don't think a child can solve puzzles. It's ridiculous. It was probably constructed by my father. I suppose he wanted to make it possible for anyone to ring that bell. In light of the events that followed, that was clearly a very foolish decision. A mechanism for ringing the bell? I noticed something like that on a pillar when we went... Oh, not the unlocking, what do you call it? But the actual thing to ring it itself. Better make a note of it in the court record. Oh dear. Fate can certainly be cruel. I have to agree. If only we had not discovered those ruins and brought that bell to our town. Or if only we could have deciphered those ancient writings a little earlier. Moreover, if only the groundwater in this area didn't cause that strange condition. Unfortunately, Mr. Cantabella, the tragedy occurred. The miracle never happened. All that remains for us to do is seek out the truth. Not for the sake of vengeance, but for the sake of the Mirai. Mr. Wright. Yes? You have been fighting fiercely to uncover the truth. This is the final interrogation. I trust you know what to do. I do. I will save Scum. To be honest, I have no idea. and it keeps zooming. I have no idea what lies ahead. But whatever it is, there's no question we need to get to the bottom of it. There's got to be light at the end of this tunnel. Final interrogation. We probably will maybe... There. Can you imagine? Will there also be puzzles after this? There might be. Oh, do I need to press on everything? Maybe not. You needed both pendants to access the belfry, correct? Espella asked me to bring my mother's pendant, so I did. That wasn't the only requirement, however. You also needed to solve a puzzle in order to use the contraption. This is true. I've always been a master puzzle solver. For me, it was child's play, literally. She solved it when she was a little girl. What's your excuse, Nick? Hey, I have different talents. Espella and Eve were best friends at the time. Eve is 2 years older than Espella. She used to be like a big sister to her. So, the two of you went to the belfry. What happened next? Alright, so this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. Hold it! I got a good feeling about this statement. So it was you who woke Espella up? Yes, it was me. She was out cold, curled up on the floor, until I shook her awake. As soon as she came to, she turned to look at the town, at that nightmarish view stretching out before us. When you say nightmarish view, I can find no other words to describe it. We froze in terror at the sight. It took us a while to notice that smoke was creeping up the bell tower, too. Our eyes filled up with tears and we couldn't stop crying, perhaps because of the smoke. The town seemed like a fire dragon's playground. I was trembling with terror unlike anything I've known before. Dear me. Merely imagining it now raises the hairs on my beard. All strength abandoned us and we didn't know what to do. That was when we were found by my father.
Hold it!
You didn't leave the belfry until their arrival? Of course not. We were paralyzed with fear. It was an event so traumatizing it still haunts us. Espella fainted again when she saw the fire dragon. She needed to store up her unconsciousness power in order to fight it. I was crying and wailing until our fathers found us. We went to the bell tower, as it was a good vantage point. We weren't expecting to find our daughters there. Of course, neither suspected at that point that the disaster had been caused by the Bell of Ruin. Eve was in tears, sobbing violently. As for Espella, she was in a daze, her face frozen in an expression of disbelief. She didn't know what was happening around her. I cannot say this with certainty as my memories are a little vague, but I think I was trying to protect her. Who said that?
Hang on!
Mr. Cantabella? I remember that very well, as if it happened yesterday. Cantabella? Would you mind telling us what you saw?
Eve! Espella! Are you alright?
Daddy!
Eve! What on earth happened here?
It was Bazella! Bazella the witch!
But... Bazella? What are you talking about?
Bazella comes out whenever someone rings the bell, right?
What have you done? You didn't...
Oh, please, Mr. Cantabella, don't be angry at Espella.
Okay, so it turns out Eve is that it? Eve is really the one who rung it? Eve said it with the most serious look on her face. When she said that, I grasped the situation. I realized what had transpired in the belfry. And I thought to myself, I must protect these children. I'm so sorry, Eve. Espella. Espella. Sweetie. Dad, please forgive me. You've done all this for me. You're with us again. All this for me. Well. At last, it would appear we are one step away from the truth. Only one step, do you promise? Professor, you seem to already know what that truth is. Do I? That remains to be seen. Continue the interrogation, and we shall all know soon enough. Well, very well. The court agrees with Inquisitor Layton. Witness, continue your testimony, as you wish. Do we? Do you mean that you fell unconscious after the bell was struck? Yes, I believe so. Our peculiar condition causes an instant reaction. The brain probably doesn't even have time to register the sound before consciousness is lost. That is curious. Curious detail. It was almost as if a slice of time had been stolen from my life. When I opened my eyes, I was lying on the floor. I lifted my head and saw Espella lying nearby. I sprang to my feet and ran to her side. And what about the situation in the town at that time? I was preoccupied with Espella, so I didn't notice it to begin with. At that time, was Espella still unconscious? Yes. I panicked a little and took her into my arms, hoping she'd wake up. So even a little girl could ring the bell. Yes, easily. I intended to make it so the bell would only be rung on special occasions. That's exactly why I put that puzzle in place to restrict access. You also divided the key to the belfry into 2 components as an extra precaution. I was careful, but the same cannot be said of Newton, who constructed the mechanism as a whole. He presumably wished to make it so that even our young daughters could use it, meaning strength was not a requirement. And that became his undoing. I love how he's like, we needed all this, tons and tons of security so people restrict access. Double, both of you have to turn your keys at the same time. Nuclear launch detected. For a bell that they didn't think did anything other than just ring prettily. Like, oh, dong, what a nice sound. By the way, how old were the girls at that time? Isabella was 6 and Eve was 8. I see. That mechanism was the last thing... the last thing I saw before falling unconscious. And then... Alright, so I think we've pressed on everything now. I don't understand when we're going to use this, but... Alright, let's, I guess, go back and press on everything again.
Hold it! Hold it! Hold it!
Actually, wait, hang on. Okay.
Hold it!
I was waiting to see if any of her testimony said anything about her hearing the bell ring, because that shouldn't be possible. Why is she suddenly reacting? She didn't react last time.
Hang on!
Excuse me, Espella. Espella, are you okay? Yes, everything's fine. My apologies for bringing back such troubling memories. Nevertheless, you must endeavor to face them and overcome the power they hold over you. Yes, I remember it now. The fire dragon. I summoned it because I'm Bezella. No, Espella, it was just an illusion. No, you're wrong, Dad. It wasn't an illusion. It was a fact. If I hadn't rung the bell, none of this would have happened. Bezella is the bringer of disaster, and that's what I've done to our town. Ack! The accused run away! Oh my god, you guys are useless. She's run into the bell tower. That's fine. We don't care if she rings the bell. All we'll do is fall unconscious, no biggie. It's no use, we'll have to break down the door to get in. Ugh, that girl! She's going to genau Dampfschaft herself, Capitan. Stay away from me! Let's save it again. Espella! Espella, be careful! It's dangerous up there! Please, Espella, come down. I'm sorry, everyone. I have no right to be here anymore. Nick, Espella's going to do something crazy. I can see that, but what the heck can I do? Espella, please do not make any hasty decisions. Mr. Layton. The truth is close now. Be brave for a little while longer. The truth? As if it wasn't clear already. If I hadn't rung that bell, everything would have been fine. You may be mistaken. You still don't know the whole story. Huh? Isn't that so, Mr. Wright? Huh? I had the same feeling when I was listening to Eve's testimony. I felt something was not right. Really? I thought that was pretty much it. The pieces of the puzzle that don't yet fit are themselves the hints to the solution. No way! You mean Espella didn't ring the bell? What? Nonsense! Of course she did. As it stands, it's hard to say for sure that she didn't ring the bell. It's the devil's proof. However, we've got evidence that will clear any doubts. Oh, that's convenient. Show us this so-called evidence you claim to have, then. What do you think proves Espella didn't ring the bell? Like, this seems like the very, very, very final question. So it has to be this, because they just gave it to us. Even though I don't see... Are they going to be like, oh, it says a child can use it, but not that a small child could use it? I mean, it truly is the only thing that we have.
Take that!
Espella, can you hear me? Espella, can you hear me? Yes. Where you're standing now is the same spot from where you saw this fire dragon. Yes, that's right. Oh, the place where she fell. Well, wait. How does... I guess just... I don't know. Like, if you immediately go unconscious as soon as the bell rings, then you would have fallen unconscious at the device. This fretwork here is the same as I saw that day. When I look at it now, it seems so small, even adorable. Defense. What does this have to do with anything? As you will no doubt recall, Mr. Cantabella told us that people who drink the groundwater here suffer from a condition where they fall unconscious the moment they hear the sound of pure silver. After the bell sounded, you recovered consciousness sooner than Espella. You ran to her side and shook her awake. As soon as she opened her eyes, she saw the fire dragon. In other words, if it was Espella who rang the bell, that would mean the device for ringing the bell must be very close to the fretwork of the dragon. Espella, can you check that for me? See if the contraption is located near the dragon fretwork. Okay, give me a minute. Mr. Wright! Espella, did you find it? I don't know if it's the right thing, but there's something on the other side of the belfry, a contraption with a handle. What? On the other side? That's right. I figured there was something weird when we went up the bell tower, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. No way. You see where I'm going with this, don't you, Miss Belduke? If it was Espella who rang the bell, there's no way she could have seen the fire dragon when she woke up. No, this can't be right. An excellent deduction, Mr. Wright. Miss Darklaw. It seems that everything is now clear as day. What? What do you mean? Why, of course. I mean the answer to the question of who rang the bell. It was her. It had to be. What do you say, Mr. Wright? It looks like we've arrived at the same conclusion. We now know that only one person could have done it. Larry Butts. Wait, what good will saying it out loud do? Is there a problem, Mr. Cantabella? It wasn't your daughter who rang that bell. Should that not lift some burden off your shoulders? Are you not curious to know the name of the true culprit who has pinned the blame on your daughter all this while? Ugh. How about you stop taunting us? Just say the name already. Who is this true culprit? Let's do it, Professor. Are you ready? I will be in a second. I am always ready, Mr. Wright. It's time to set things straight. The person who rang the bell is...
Have a look.
It's you, Eve Belduke. Me? But... there were only the two of you in the belfry at the time. You know that better than anyone. And as it wasn't Espella who rang the bell, it had to be you. That's preposterous. It can't be. It was an extremely traumatizing event for both you and Espella. Your friend's memories were altered from the shock without her even realizing it. She believed she was a witch who rang the bell and summoned a dragon which incinerated the town. However, Miss Belduke, Espella wasn't the only one whose memories were warped by the horrors you two witnessed. You were affected as well.
No. It wasn't me. Espella, she rang the bell. It was her, not me. But why? What are these flashbacks? I've never had these before.
Yeah, that's the lamest festival. Can you imagine having to pretend like that was fun?
What's the matter? I don't want to do this now. We'll be taken over by Bezella. Bezella is just a fairy tale. And you're the one who said you wanted to come and ring the bell. I did, but I changed my mind. Hey? After coming all this way? Oh. Hmm?
That nightmare was too much for two young girls to take in. Your young minds needed to protect themselves. That's why you subconsciously repressed those memories.
Then, if that's true, for the past 10 years, I've been pinning the blame for what I've done on Isabella. It can't be. It can't be true. It's impossible!
Oh, that's right. She still has an invisibility cloak.
Darklost just disappeared.
We still don't have an explanation for why some people would be able to see through them. Some people can see the invisibility robe and some people can't. Still seems silly. She's run away, but did you hear that? It was her that once destroyed this town. Our lives have already been messed up so much. We don't need this now. She's got to pay for what she did. Capture her. Don't say to be continued.
Nick, look at the bell tower. Ispella's gone.
No, she's on the roof.
I beg you, don't blame Eve. It really doesn't matter anymore who rang the accursed bell. This town was all created for me. It's my fault you've all been used and suffered so much.
Espella, what do you say? Please, come down right now. You haven't done anything wrong. It was all my fault.
Dad, I know that you did this for me. You've been so kind to me. And what did I do? I selfishly ran away from home.
Espella.
I will finish your story for you. The evil witch will be gone forever, and everyone will live happily ever after. Dad, thank you for everything you've done for me.
Wait! Don't do it, Espella!
How did Luke get here?
What are you... Isn't that... Darklaw? But why, Eve? Why would you? I finally remembered everything I've done.
You're not the only one who remembered. You still have the pendant.
Yes, of course. That's because... somehow I always knew it was important to me.
Isabella.
You kept your pendant as well, didn't you, Eve?
For some reason, I just couldn't let it go.
Espella! Miss Darklaw!
Quick! They'll fall if we don't do something!
Let's go. We have to save them.
No, you won't make it there in time.
Why?
The wooden handrail Eve's holding onto is rotted through. We need some sort of magic to save them.
Aren't there like
No way.
70 trillion people in invisibility robes just hanging
you
out
say?
in the town right now?
Got an idea, Professor?
If a bit of magic is all that's needed to save these two young ladies, then perhaps that is something I can arrange.
What? You can?
Is he gonna do a puzzle?
You have to let go! Otherwise you'll fall too!
He had to run before he could point?
Professor?
What's going on here? Anyone? Professor! You're a sorcerer! No, Miss Fay. We have already established that magic doesn't exist, even in this town. But then, how did you just do that? What you have just seen was the last and greatest illusion within Labyrinthia. Huh? An illusion? Magic is but an illusion, and this illusion has been... Right, he's not a sorcerer, but he is a ninja knight. And this illusion has been produced through the power of suggestion and Labrellum's medication. Everyone in Labyrinthia has been under this particular magic spell. Now then, shall we break the spell? Magic is the last mystery to be solved. You've seen through all my tricks, Layton. I wouldn't have done it without the vital hint you gave me when you spoke in your tower. The final spell is concealed at the start. Okay, so what does that mean? As you know, all the spells are listed within this book. Right, the Grand Grimoire. Now, what did Mr. Cantabella mean by the start? The front cover? Precisely, Mr. Wright. The final spell shall dispel the illusion. The correct incantation is hidden on the front cover itself.
Well then, Mr. Wright. This is the final puzzle. Soon, a new day will begin for the townspeople.
There is a final puzzle.
Let us put an end to this
Serp was
illusion
absolutely right.
once and for all.
Yeah!
90 Picarats. Hidden on the cover of the Grand Grimoire are the characters that spell out the true magical incantation. Select the characters on the touchscreen and slide them over their counterparts on the tome's cover to make it vanish. The grand finale approaches. Remove the gouge the extra magical characters from the Grand Grimoire's cover to reveal a hidden incantation. But the whole thing is upside down and it's Sudoku. What do I have to do again? Hidden on the... okay. Touch a character to make it appear on the upper screen. Slide the character around. So tap close to select another symbol. Try to match this character with its counterpart on the upper screen. Symbols come in all sizes and shapes. There's the E. There's the S. There's the T. Oh, it's... oh, I see this one. Oh, it's very faint, right over there.
Okay, let's give it a shot.
No objections. sun is rising, and when it does, its light will reveal the truth behind Labyrinthia's mysteries.
Now, Professor?
Yes. Shall we, Mr. Wright?
So this is the real magic behind Labyrinthia.
Excellent work, my boy.
Huh? Hey, it's Luke!
I'm not sure what Luke was doing over there. Did he catch them? Did the thing catch them on its own? Nobody knows.
Hang on a second. The town's full of machinery?
Yeah, science.
So much for magic. It was all done with these machines.
That's right. With magic, witches can fly, buildings can disappear. Those are no easy feats to stage. To make all those incredible things real, we needed a great deal of machinery.
Couldn't he have just, I don't know, made the magic a bit simpler?
A witch would say the incantation, and shades would stop time with their silver bells.
And they'd go wild with these machines, making all sorts of crazy stuff happen. That's so cool. I'd love to try it.
I took a quick crash course before operating the machines. Not bad, hey?
Did you?
Yes, Luke. What
Did
would
you?
we
How
do
exactly
without you?
did you take that crash course?
So when's my turn? I want to pick something up off the ground and make it fly through the air.
I wish you'd stop looking at me when you say that, Maya.
So it's just that everybody was hypnotized. One of the hypnosis things was to ignore the fact that there's this machinery. Like, then how did Phoenix? We don't know that either. How did Phoenix and Layton wind up in here? And unless somebody like knocked them out and then gave them a bunch of water to drink before they came in here, why were they also subject to the same hypnosis?
In any case, I think we should head back to the courthouse.
Right
Back
you
to the
are,
courthouse.
Professor.
Why?
The judge
Trial's
might have
over.
fallen asleep.
Trial over, stream over.
The sun has risen above Labyrinthia and has shown us our town's true form. Well, I really don't think there's any need for a verdict anymore. The witches on trial weren't witches after all. I am deeply relieved that those I have sentenced are still alive and well. At last, I can step down from this seat with a clear conscience. And now, the final verdict in the last witches' court session ever to be held.
Woo! We did it. We done did it. Oh, we get the post-trial music. I'm very grateful for all the help, Professor. The feeling is mutual, Mr. Wright. A gentleman always fights for the truth. I could not have done otherwise. I'd like to congratulate the two of you. You both did splendidly in court. Oh, it's the judge. You've brought to light the truth about this town. Although I still find it astonishing that we could not see all of this. I cannot even begin to imagine how it was achieved. You were all given a very simple instruction when you were hypnotized. You cannot see pure black. That was it? Man, I would have picked a different color just to be safe. Oh, now I see. These strange contraptions are made from some sort of black metal. Wait just a second. There are plenty of black objects all over Labyrinthia, aren't there? Yeah, that's right. My hair is charcoal black, too. Ah, but it is not pure black. What? What we often perceive as the color black is in fact far from being pure black. Our brains interpret reflections of light as colors. Objects which reflect even the smallest amount of light are not pure black. Pure black is only encountered within nature as darkness. Darkness, sir? The machines used in Labyrinthia are coated in a special material developed in Labrellian ink. It absorbs light without reflecting any. It is the only material that can be said to be pure black. It cost us literally billions to make an entire city covered in machines made of this material. But, you know, science. I bet this invisibility robe is also made of that same material, right? That's correct. And of course the bell tower was concealed using the very same material as well. When you think about it, this town abounds in things invisible. Ms. Darklaw, or should I say Ms. Belduke? Yes? For 10 long years, your memories had been suppressed. The truth about what occurred in the belfry was invisible to me, you mean? Mr. Cantabella and your father knew it all along. They knew who actually rang the bell. What? Did they really? Is that true, Cantabella? As we have demonstrated, it was easy to deduce from the situation in the belfry. But if he knew that all along, why didn't he say something? It was, of course, for your own good.
Don't be angry at her!
You were trying to pin the blame for that disaster on Espella. Yes, I was. But if you knew that, why did you keep quiet about it? If you had only scolded me back then for lying, maybe Espella wouldn't have suffered such trauma. It was your eyes, Eve. What? Your eyes weren't those of a liar. You believed in what you said. You truly thought it was Espella. What you saw was too much for you to bear. Your mind blocked out the real memory of what had happened in order to maintain your own sanity. Had I called you a liar then, you would probably have suffered a mental breakdown. Mr. Cantabella and your father created this town. You were mistaken in thinking it was purely for Espella's sake. It was also for you, Miss Belduke. Arg! Remember what your father wrote in his suicide note.
I have only two concerns. The first is my daughter. It pains me to be leaving her alone in this world, although she probably doesn't think of me as her father.
I had an argument with my father once. He was always thinking only about the town and paid no attention to me. So you moved out and broke off contact with him. But you were wrong about your father. Not a single day passed without him thinking about you. He helped to make the story I was weaving a reality for your sake. I've been so ignorant. I was so convinced Father was driven to suicide by you. Your father couldn't bear the sense of guilt he had accumulated over the past 10 years. Even though he killed himself in the end, I believe you are always the most important person to him.
Eve?
Espella! Espella, what I did to you is unforgivable. I rewrote your story, putting you through all this. I can't believe I went to such an extreme because of one wrong assumption.
No, it's okay, Eve. I wasn't angry.
You weren't?
You've always been on my side, protecting me. And even today, you saved my life.
Espella.
I also owe you an apology. After all, I forgot about my dearest friend. I'm so sorry, Eve. Ah, there you are, Eve. Where were you?
You don't count. You don't count, cat. Throw it in the garbage.
Called Eve.
You know what I've just noticed? You two are very much alike. You and Eve the cat.
What? It's all in your head.
It looks like Eve has taken a liking to the other Eve.
You've got that right, and the similarity is really striking.
Meow.
Oh dear.
Is that it? Are we fading to white because there's going to be credits? Creditos? No creditos. Not yet.
My accidental guests, Professor Layton and Mr. Wright.
Yes?
I must say, I am indebted to you.
Don't mention it.
You know, when I started planning my revenge 3 months ago, Mr. Layton was a part of my plans. I needed to lure him to Labyrinthia.
Wait, what?
Why me?
You were famous in London, and word of your skills reached me even here. What's more, you specialize in mysteries. So I thought that if you came to this town, you'd feel compelled to solve ours.
Well, I am honored.
That's cool. And what about me?
Ah, well, about you. How should I put it? Your arrival here was purely accidental.
You mean it wasn't planned?
As you know, Espella escaped and got involved in that incident on the freighter. As a consequence, I had no choice but to bring you here.
I see. I shouldn't have asked. My fragile pride has suffered yet another blow.
Nick, you can't escape your fate. You're doomed to always find trouble if it doesn't find you first.
How about some words of sympathy for a change?
I am terribly sorry. The only thing on my mind the last 3 months was revenge.
Whatever your intentions were, the last witch trial has ended in the best possible way for this town. You were correct in your judgment. You always are.
You're too kind to me.
I thank you from the bottom of my heart, Eve, for opening my eyes.
Sorry to break up this little happy ending, but I've sort of got an important question. Why were you going to end the story?
Only Newton knew the real reason. I am suffering
from an incurable illness.
What?
Dad, you're ill. Is it serious?
It is a rare disease with no known cure.
Why didn't you tell me? Had I known...
I wanted this to be my secret. I suppose that was a bad decision on my part. I thought I'd finish the story before I died and lay the foundations for a new world. Honestly, I was desperate. I didn't much care about Labyrinthia anymore.
Dad, why did it have to happen to you? Especially now that we're finally back together.
Cheer up, Espella.
How can I?
Deadly anime cop. Well, he's Kinzo. He's been Kinzo the whole time.
Labrellum's new
He also
drug
needs to
development
be
center
ill.
contacted me a short while ago. They have succeeded in creating a new medicine, thanks to Belduke's research. It's a top-secret wonder drug for my illness.
Why did they introduce this in the very end? That they go, by the way, I'm gonna die soon. By the way, actually, I'm not.
Newton had been working on finding a cure for my illness until the very end. It would seem that the cure was his final gift to me.
My father.
Newton was the truest friend I ever had. I'm going to undergo surgery. Do not fear, I shall return.
Wait, if it's a
Stop
wonder
making
drug,
that
why are
sad
you
face,
undergoing
Estella.
surgery? Make up your mind.
Dad, will everything be back to how it once was?
Of course it will.
We need to
And
surgically implant these
will
pills
you-
inside you.
Will you still
There's
be
no
my
other
friend?
way.
Of course. Thank you.
Fade to white and credits. Except no. Clearly not. Of course not. Well, we have to end it on an objection. That's tradition. Oh my god, please don't introduce anyone from the town again. I never want to see them again. All of the townsfolk were very Professor Layton-ish characters, which I don't care for all that much. The main players were more like Phoenix Wright characters. I haven't shown a single person my badge, which is very sad. Of course not. Please do. Looks like Eve wants to come too. What? Oh, you meant the cat. Meow. Espella, mind if we tag along? Not at all. You're welcome to come. Awesome. Maybe we'll get some tasty baked bread out of this. I thought we were going there for a different reason. Well, anyway, I'll be off then, Professor. Pass on my regards to Mr. Clare and the... Alright, object to something. So, what's going to happen to the town? I've released everyone from hypnosis. They will soon recover the memories of their lives before Labyrinthia. As of today, Project Labyrinthia is over. Oh, I see. They are free to leave if they so wish. I imagine they will make a run for it. This place will turn into uninhabited ruins, just like it was 10 years ago.
I have some doubts about that.
Your Honor!
I now understand that this town is an artificial creation of yours. Nonetheless, to us Labyrinthians, the past 10 years were real.
No one can yet tell how this town will change. However, it is possible that some people will want to stay. Who knows? Perhaps you will find yourself creating a new town along with them.
A new town, you say?
The experiment failed. The other town I burned to the ground didn't realize they needed to write a story to wipe people's memories. Utter failure. I know. What happened to the control experiment town?
I am no longer
I mean, the control group.
If possible, I would like to remain here.
You have my gratitude, Your Honor.
You need not address me as Your Honor anymore, Sir Storyteller.
My name is Jim.
And so, the last witch trial has drawn to a close.
Are we gonna zoom into what's his name in the jail? Is that the final joke? We cut over to him.
What did Mr. Wright, Mr. Layton, and my father talk about? That I do not know. But Dad made a promise to me. Once everyone recovers their memories and he is cured of his illness, he will return to write a new story with everyone's help. This time, the story will be real without any lies or illusions.
What a beautiful sound.
Almost as if it's ringing in a new beginning for the town.
Thank you, Eve.
Okay then. Whenever you are ready, Mr. Barnum.
There he is. Oh yeah, Emir was there. Saw him jumping.
Thank you all so much for everything!
Espella, you take care now.
You too, Mr. Cantabella, bye! Be sure to visit us again!
You can bet on it!
I wish all of you the very best. Mr. Wright, I knew I could count on you to stand your ground and fight me to the very end.
Me too. I always believed in you, Professor. And I know it's why we managed to get to the mysterious truth behind this town.
When we get back to England, we'll drop by and see you, Luke.
Great! I'll show you around London.
Barnum's like, I'm definitely not staying. They're closing a book. You can't have anything else after that. Only credits. Yeah, credits. All right. So a lot of it is just impatience because I wanted this to be able to end the stream by 9 o'clock. Hope you guys enjoyed. That was Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. We will be playing the next two Phoenix Wright games, but not immediately. GG indeed. So next on the schedule, tomorrow, of course, Saturday, Baba Is You. Sunday will be more. I think we'll keep going. Like Final Fantasy 14. I think I had mentioned. I don't know if I'm gonna, because I won't be able to do mentor roulettes anymore once the expansion drops, at least for a little bit. I don't know if I'll I don't think I'm gonna stream Shadowbringers content. Oh, it's Delanor. I don't think I'm gonna stream Shadowbringers. So am I gonna stream something else on Sundays, or will I just not stream at all on Sundays? I have not decided yet. But we got 4 more weeks before that comes up. The older, I mean, all of them have pretty long endings. Like, when you get to the end of the game, they draw it out a fair amount. Oh, it's the step-on lady. And they all have footprints on their backs. That's funny. And the judge is a singer now? Sure, why not? And then Tuesday we'll pick up with the game that's replacing this, which is going to be Quern Undying Thoughts. I don't remember much of anything about this game. I think I picked it up at the same time that I got the Talos Principle, maybe, and I suspect that it's maybe the same type of game, but honestly, I haven't even looked at the store page since I bought it.
You know, Professor, I feel like I've just finished reading a really long story.
Indeed, Luke. I know what you mean. It certainly was an enthralling adventure.
I wonder how Espella and the others back in Labyrinthia are getting on. I'd love to go back and see them. Although, I'd rather not have to be sucked into a book to get there.
Perhaps we should ask Carmine to come along with us.
Great! It's a real relief he recovered
That-
from all of his injuries.
That is a very good
But he
question.
was a bit put out when he found out you'd already solved all the
That is an
Professor.
astonishingly good question.
Well, we mustn't forget that we didn't solve them all by ourselves. We couldn't have done it without the help of our friends across the Atlantic.
I wonder what they're doing right now. Battling away in a courtroom somewhere?
I'd wager they may well be, Luke. At any
Because,
rate,
yeah, well,
we must
like,
make
the
our
very,
own
very beginning, when
preparations.
Carmina is escaping with her,
There's a
he
brand
is
new
being
case
chased
that
by
requires our
flying
attention,
witches.
and that means
They are not being
a brand new
hoisted
set
by
of puzzles
cranes.
to be solved, my boy.
They are not being hoisted by jet black cranes, and nobody was hypnotized to think that there were witches.
Hold it! What's the matter, Wright? Has the cat got your tongue?
Is that Edgeworth's voice?
Or
Sure.
are you still in a holiday kind of mood? Perhaps your mind is as clouded as the English sky.
Any hints, Maya?
Not really. If only the professor were here. I think at this point you've got to use that patented spell of yours, Nick.
Patented spell?
Hello, Earth to Nick. Just when we think it's all over, you always use it to turn the tables.
Ah, got it. I just have to close my eyes and say the magic word. Luckily, I don't need a witch's scepter for this one.
Save the chit-chat for later, right? I've almost missed that utterly annoying spell of yours. Fine, let's hear it then.
Just take a deep breath and give it all you've got.
Well, here goes. Objection!
They put Edgeworth in just at the very, very end.